Hey, this is Dakini Sophie here, and I'm about to update you on my experiment in abstaining from clitoral orgasms, or NOFAP as it's otherwise known. I'm currently on day 12 and I'm feeling really good. And generally I feel very alive, almost like everything is a little bit more crisp in my view, like everything's a bit more brightly coloured. My desire for sex is definitely higher than it has been. My enjoyment of sex is way higher than it has been. It doesn't take me very long to become fully aroused or to move into higher states of arousal. And of course that depends on what your partner's doing, how to get you there, how much touch you're receiving, what kind of touch. But I feel very easily aroused now, whereas in maybe week one, just right after having clitoral orgasms, it was a little harder and there was a little bit more apathy there on my behalf. So yeah, it took a lot more effort of my own and my partner's for me to become aroused and be open to sex. Now it takes no effort at all. So my emotional stability is immense at the moment. I've just been through a process of moving house and also a very challenging time in my relationship where we considered ending the relationship and not living together. So there was a lot of things to process through, and largely through that I kept my stability. It was a very difficult time, but I was able to look after myself within that. What else I noticed is that love for my partner right now is at an all-time high. I'm very, I guess you could say, heart-centered. I'm very connected to my partner. I feel very open to love in a way that I have been before, but it's not really there straight after having clitoral orgasms for the first week or so. It didn't feel like this. It's like an openness and a vulnerability. Not vulnerable like I want to cry all the time and everything's awful, but vulnerable like I am fully alive and I'm fully able to love my partner, even though that brings all the risks that it brings. I'm totally there. I'm just open to love, whatever it brings. And that has been reflected in the sex that we've been having. Yesterday, when we had sex, it felt very much like my yoni and my heart were connected, and like we were making love with our hearts. It sounds crazy, but it felt like our hearts were completely open and connected. There was so much love there, and it was so pleasurable as well. I mean, I'm not saying it wasn't pleasurable, but it's pleasure in a different way than the very friction-based, not so open, not so emotionally involved, not so heart-centered kind of sex. So almost like we barely have to move and we can feel so much. I had an experience yesterday where my partner was completely still inside me and I could feel myself going into orgasm, not a clitoral orgasm, more I guess like a G-spot orgasm. I actually don't really know, but it was just this feeling of opening and surrendering to him and our hearts joining. I certainly don't experience those kind of sensations when I'm regularly having clitoral orgasms. Am I feeling tempted to have a clitoral orgasm? Well, to be honest, briefly, at times, yes, that does happen. Say if my partner is touching, or if I'm touching the clitoral area, and I get to a certain level of arousal, of course I do stop now because it's very important to me right now not to go into clitoral orgasms because of the negative consequences. So yes, I can feel that desire is there in my body, not like it was for the first couple of days after day 1 and day 2. That was pretty high. In the last 3 days, there's maybe been 2 or 3 times where I've thought, oh, that would be really wonderful just to let go and go into clitoral orgasm. But it's not like, it's something that my body wants briefly, and then when I think about the whole picture, the consequences of how I might feel for the days and weeks after that, I really don't want to choose that. And my arousal, I notice that I become deeply aroused fairly quickly and that it's sustained for a while, and that if we leave a sexual play session and then come back to it an hour later or whatever, say we start for some reason and then we begin again, it's like my arousal is so high My yoni is wet a lot of the time, my clitoris is swollen a lot of the time. It's like being in a really sexually charged environment, like when you first meet your partner and all you can think about is making love with them. It's like that, and we've been together for 6 months, so it's like taking your body back to that newness, that excitement, that novelty that you get in the beginning of a relationship. It really is exquisite. I know that when I mention to people that I am doing this experiment experiment of abstaining from clitoral orgasms, a lot of people look at me like I'm missing out on something, or I'm being punishing to myself, or I am restricting unnecessarily. But some of the benefits that I'm receiving, I really didn't even know that it could be this amazing. Like the feelings I'm having in my body and emotionally, the connection that I'm having with my partner, it really is something special. So if you've never tried that, I would really encourage you to attempt to get anything beyond 2 weeks or 14 days, and just notice how you feel, because it has been a revelation to me. Even though there was a good period of time, a couple of years, where I didn't do many clitoral orgasms, I don't know, this time that I've really drawn a line in the sand and said, okay, no more for this period of time, it's like I'm able to observe so clearly what's happening, and I like it. So I hope you found this video interesting and useful. If there's anybody you feel may benefit from this, please do share it with them. Don't forget to like and subscribe below. Lots of love.